The French philosopher Blaise Pascal said that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. In this video, I'll be seeing if Blaise Pascal was right. One's room should be a sacred place, a calm refuge from the storm of the outside world. The psychotherapist Alfred Adler proposed that all problems are interpersonal relationship problems. When you are alone, these problems are reduced, unless you take out your phone and go on social media. Now you have problems. That person who hasn't messaged you back, that person who seems to be having a better life than you, that person whose text message can mean many things, but you decide to only focus on the negative interpretations. Your phone can be a source of suffering because it stimulates interpersonal relationship problems. But if you put the phone away, you realize you have no problem. You are simply sitting quietly in a room, alone. Sitting alone without distraction is beneficial to one's character. The mind has less stimulation, so it will try to convince you that you have many things to do and you can't afford the time to sit quietly. Sitting alone brings out the mind's dysfunction. When all you are doing is sitting, the mind will make you feel guilty, fidgety, and uptight. It won't leave you alone. In fact, you aren't alone. You have an annoying roommate who can't stop making you feel guilty and worthless. Sitting alone brings out the worst of your mind and gives space for you to have a profound realization. You realize that the mind is an incessant troublemaker. It feeds off problems, and when it isn't being stimulated, it lashes out. This means the mind isn't a friend. Your mind wants you to worry and stress about the future and beat yourself up over the past. But all you want to do is sit quietly. Who is this you? This you is consciousness itself. You are the being in human being. The human part is the ego, the part that identifies with the world of form, people, places, and objects. When you are sitting alone, tap into being and drop the human. In a busy world that has been built from the collective mind-based consciousness of humanity, seeking out things is the mind's default mode. But as Eckhart Tolle explains, nothing out there will ever satisfy you, except temporarily and superficially. But you may need to experience many disillusionments before you realize that truth. Retreating from this collective mind pattern of seeking, worrying, and doing for the sake of future fulfillment will bring peace into your life. You don't have to arrive anywhere. You have already arrived. This is it. Of course, you will stand up and do things sooner or later, but your presence will stay with you. You can make plans for the future, but you can make those plans fully in the now. When the storm of thinking has passed, sitting quietly in a room can give you a taste of being. And if you sit quietly often, you will remember instinctively that you have that peaceful refuge inside you. It has nothing to do with being alone in a room. The peace you experience with a quiet mind is accessible to you at any moment. When you're in a traffic jam, waiting for the bus, or walking to school or work, you can take a few moments to rest in being. Feel the aliveness of your inner body and listen to the silence that is ever present behind even the loudest sounds. This access to being is the only thing that can keep you sane in a mad world. You are either sitting, standing, or lying down somewhere. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, this is a basic truth. The mind likes to complicate things, but this realization can anchor you into the simplicity of the present moment. You are either outside or in a room, and you are sitting, standing, or lying down. Isolate the moment you are in to just this, in a room, sitting. The peacefulness and joy of your being can blossom. There are no problems. Your mind creates problems. Haven't you noticed that when one problem is dealt with, another one instantly appears to take its place? The mind is fueled by problems, but there is no problem in being. Sitting on your own is vital training for interpersonal relationships. If you can't be still and calm when on your own, how can you be still and calm when conflict arises? In an argument with another, you feed off each other's egos and react continuously. You identify with your mental position. You believe you're always right because your mind can't afford to be wrong. If you are wrong, your mental position comes crashing down, and the illusionary self you believe in will collapse. A fully conscious person doesn't identify with the self. As Eckhart Tolle explains, you can't have an argument with a fully conscious person. End quote. It is vital to have a stable inner space and a calm mind. Seneca explained that the mind must be given relaxation. It will rise improved and sharper after a good break. Just as rich fields must not be forced, for they'll quickly lose their fertility if never given a break. So constant work on the anvil will fracture the force of the mind. Constant work gives rise to a certain kind of dullness and feebleness in the rational soul. End quote. This relaxation Seneca refers to isn't when you watch the TV, have a bath, or listen to music. If these things are done unconsciously, without full attention in the present moment, these forms of relaxation are means of blocking the voice in our head. See my video, The Background Static, for more on this. You can have a bath consciously, and these forms of relaxation can be a means of resting in being. But no external thing should be relied upon to relax. Otherwise, most of the time we aren't relaxed, which is detrimental to our well-being. Marcus Aurelius argued, "If you seek tranquility, do less." End quote. Therefore, sitting quietly in a room is the ultimate means of relaxing. It trains you to relax without stimulation, which is a superpower. This relaxation consists of acceptance of the present moment, whatever form it takes. As Eckhart Tolle explains, acceptance looks like a passive state, but in reality, it brings something entirely new into this world. That peace, a subtle energy vibration, is consciousness. End quote. Therefore, Blaise Pascal was right. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room, alone. When these words resonate, they can have a profound impact on your life. So next time you enter your room, sit down and be quiet for a few minutes. Listen to the sounds outside the window. But pay particular attention to the silence these sounds emanate from. These gaps of silence enhance your inner stillness. Eckhart Tolle explains that the equivalent of external noise is the inner noise of thinking. The equivalent of external silence is inner silence. Look around your room. Without labels and judgments from the mind, the objects in the room appear new and fresh. Everything is still and silent. And notice that these objects are within the space of your room. Without the space, there would be no room. In fact, your room is mostly empty space. Pay attention to the space, just like the silence. Eckhart Tolle explains that a great silent space holds all of nature in its embrace. It also holds you." End quote. As you pay attention to the external world, you can also pay attention to your inner body. Are there any unpleasant emotions or aches and pains? Hold them gently in your attention. Surrender to them as they are what is in this moment. Feel your hands, your feet. Is there a light tingling in your toes, your fingers? Where is the problem in this moment? Can you rest in this state without listening to the thoughts in your head? Be the watcher of the thoughts. They come and go just like the sounds you listen to. Treat them just like sounds, part of the contents of experience. You don't believe the sound of a car is you? Then don't believe a thought is you. The more you take this quiet time alone, the better you will be at resting in present moment awareness. When this video ends, before you get up and do something, take some time to be. Just be and see how you feel. It only takes a moment.